Hello and welcome to Office Hours. This is our regular gathering where we get together a panel of marketers to talk about some of the trends that we're seeing or different hot topics that are impacting the marketing industry. So joining me today from the Tenlo team, which I want to call out is now part of ModUp, so I should say the ModUp team, is Tessa Berg and Jen Polona. And we also have a very special guest today. This is a client of ours and we're excited to have her, and that's Linda Owens from Nestle Professional. So welcome everyone.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Hello.
Thanks, Cheryl.
So the topic that we're discussing today is marketing the new sales. And Tessa talked about this a little bit on a recent episode of the Leader Generation podcast. And we had such a high interest in this topic that we wanted to give it a little more love and talk about it just a little bit more. So Tessa, can you just give us a short overview of what marketing is the new sales means?
Yes. So actually, this topic was inspired by Linda herself. She said it during a presentation we were giving, and it really resonated with me because, when the pandemic started and as we were working through the different challenges, I've definitely felt it. I feel like Linda and her team and a lot of our other clients felt this increased pressure that marketing had to start delivering real customers and delivering them more efficiently. So our sales teams were grounded. They couldn't rely on the same type of in-person relationship building that they had been doing. And we had to get creative really quick on how do we become more efficient in creating those relationships virtually, and what tools in the toolbox are best for doing that. So that's where the topic came from. And now that we are 2.5 some years into this journey, we have a lot of learnings. And it hasn't slowed down. The pressure on marketing, the requirement to target the right people and target ready to buy buyers right now still exists.
So Linda, since you were the inspiration behind this topic, when did you start seeing some of those lines between marketing, sales blur? And are you still seeing that today?
Yeah, I think we are always, every single one of us, no matter what company we work for, we're always supporting sales in some form or manner, right? So it's always a priority for us is that we are impacting in different ways that sales number. I do think there is more of an opportunity now for us to make an even more significant impact because our digital channels have kind of blurred a lot more into sales channels, right? A lot of times we see that people are making a lot of buying decisions without really talking to someone else. They may just research and quickly hit buy. You're seeing things like, Instagram stores popping up. We have sales happening on the TikToks of the world in social media, but also in just any type of website these days, or even on apps. So there's sales opportunities for that is happening today that has nothing to do with talking to a salesperson, but it's still sales. It's still an end-to-end sales methodology, but it's more so in the digital space and the online space. So one thing that has happened for me when I'm viewing the industries right now is that COVID expedited this a little bit more to make this much more prevalent, much more important for many companies across multiple industries. And that's what I'm seeing at the moment. And that's what inspired Marketing is the New Sales.
That's really interesting. And Jen, I'd love to get your perspective because, you work with a lot of different clients and you hear a lot of their challenges that they're facing. Is this something that a lot of different clients are coming to you with concerns about, or trying to figure out, how to really seamlessly blend those lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about, how best to engage a potential prospect and thinking about that full sales funnel, we want to make sure that we're thinking about it from top to bottom, right? And so everyone's at a different stage in their buyer journey, whether they think they have a problem, they know they have a problem, and they know exactly what that problem is, or they just need a solution for that problem. So what we see from a lot of our customers in the last few years, and especially since the pandemic and things like that, is that we need to make sure that marketing is there to support the buyer in whatever stage of their buying journey that they're in. So whether that's giving them some information on educational information, or giving them some real specific call to action that's going to allow them to talk to someone on a sales team, or make that more formal connection. It's become really important. And we see, especially across the B2B space, that a lot of our clients are really in need of that and want marketing to support it.
And it's interesting that you bring that up in B2B, because I know in the past it was more common for marketing to really dominate the B2C space and sales to more dominate the B2B space. But expectations are changing, and B2B, they're expecting more of that B2C experience. And so I'm wondering, Linda, are you, as these lines start to blur, are you seeing that marketing is now being held more accountable for contributing to sales and revenue growth and profitability, specifically in B2B?
Yeah, I think all of us are consumers, regardless of if we're buying for a business or if we're buying for ourselves, right? So that behavior, once they go online, is still the same, regardless of the channels and the items that they are buying. So universally, that I feel is true, which helps put things into perspective on the B2B side, is that yes, to an extent, perhaps there's much more involvement on the marketing side. I don't think there is as much more on like pressure to accomplish certain initiatives, as much as there's more opportunity to do more, right? So it's a totally different thing, because we have more doors opened for us now to actually influence someone in a digital way. And it could be purely digital. There could never even ever be a human touch point along the way, as long as that customer is willing to have that. Right now, if a customer wants an actual conversation to happen, we need to make sure that we are offering that to them. So that omni-channel approach is super important regardless, because you may have 2% of your customer base who still wants that, and you need to make sure that it's available instead of just saying like, no, we're just going to go all out on digital. So that having that right mix, so that you are opening more doors to convert customers into sales, is crucial.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add to that. One thing, when we were talking about this topic, there was a concern raised by another client. Are we cannibalizing what sales used to do? Like, they work very much in hard goods and manufacturing, and they're like, we start selling online, we're just replacing what the salespeople do. And what we found is it's actually just different types of customers buying different ways. So if you're able to influence and get more of those people who want that digital buying experience, your salespeople still very much play a role for those customers who really need that relationship, really need someone they know and trust who's going to be making recommendations. And we can do that on digital. You can, create comparison charts. You can do all types of content, but that's going to be for that different type of buyer. So, opening up these channels, to Linda's point, is really creating opportunity and growth. It's not about like, are we replacing sales? It's like, no, we are selling though. And we're selling to customers who want to consume information and buy in that way.
Yeah. And Tessa, oh, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that's a really great point. And I think that, one of the things that is really important for our clients and companies to understand is really leveraging that MarTech stack the best way possible, right? Leveraging the various platforms they might be using. How do they all need to work together in order to bring that omni-channel approach? So that way the communication to individuals is there however they want to consume it.
Linda, did you have another point that you
I
wanted to
I
bring up?
forgot what I was going to say, Cheryl, so you can move on to that next
Sorry.
question. No worries.
That's all right. Um, so, we've talked a little bit about new opportunities. So, what can marketers offer customers that maybe we haven't been able to in the past, based on these new purchase habits and, ways of buying that maybe do not include face-to-face contact or as much integration with sales? And Jen, if you don't mind, I'd like to start off with you on that.
Sure, absolutely. So I don't know if it's necessarily new, but I think it's about thinking about it in a new way. But content, right? Content is just so extremely important for those individuals that wherever they're at in their buying journey, they're able to consume the type of information they want in the format that they want to consume it. So whether that's, a long white paper, that's a really interesting read, whether that's an infographic, some type of video content, a quick post on LinkedIn or Facebook or one of the other social platforms, all of those things become really important. So one of the things we work with our clients on is how do we take that content and leverage it the best way possible? We want to really make that content work hard for us based on that omni-channel approach. And so you don't need a crazy amount of content, but repurposing content and making sure that it's really connecting with the end user in their, to answer where they're at in their buying journey is really important.
That's so true. Obviously, I am a big proponent of content. So, Linda, how about you? Beyond content, is there any different opportunities or anything that maybe marketers should start doing or maybe stop doing in order to for marketers to start supporting sales more and taking a more active role?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, regardless of what channel we end up purchasing from, we buy emotionally, and then we make that justification with logic, right? So emotion is so important in this buying process. So whether it's a human connectivity, to Jen's point, or it is an online digital connectivity, there still has to be a humanness to it, right? So whether it's creative or content that Jen brought up, that we're being more mindful of creating and popping up all over the place. If it doesn't have that emotion connectivity, I don't think anyone's going to buy. So in the same way, if you don't have a good relationship with your customer and you're a salesperson, I don't think they're going to buy from you. It's that likability factor, right? So I think that's crucial regardless of the platform, and we need to be very mindful of that as well. Anytime we are making sure that our products are positioned, whether it's online or offline.
Yeah, that is so true. One of our coworkers, Kit Botirius, always says that people like working with people they like. And I think the same thing goes with that buying relationship. That's so important. People care about who they purchase, whether it's products or services, who are they purchasing from, and what those values and what that company cares about. So that human element is just critical. Tessa, do you have any thoughts about what marketers may need to start or stop doing to take advantage of some of the opening doors and new opportunities?
I think one area that B2C marketing is ahead of us on is optimizing campaigns across all the channels and measuring, the impact of demand generation, which is the use of content to influence people all the way down to sales. And since there have been, divisions between marketing and sales, they have very aggressive goals. So they're doing what they got to do. And marketing is always trying to keep up and support. But we do need to start to marry across those platforms so that we can see, hey, are we creating demand and awareness with the right people that are adding value to sales? And it's really hard when we can't kind of, tie that bow. I think the stop doing is stop just seeing yourself as creating pamphlets and promotional materials and trade show stuff for the sales team, there really is an opportunity to reach a different type of buyer and think about, if your response rate at a trade show is, 15%, which is awesome. So you contact those people who are driving them to the trade show booth. I mean, that's amazing. But that means that you're still missing, 70, 80% of the audience. So how, start looking at, but what about everyone else? So I feel like sometimes we get awesome results from things we're used to doing, and we're seeing those things come back, but you're still missing. There is a buyer that became very active in the pandemic who wants to be online and wants to be influenced online. So yeah, make sure you're connecting whatever you're doing to support sales to, but how do I reach the rest of that audience?
Yeah, that's some great advice. We are just about out of time. Are there any last thoughts before we close out this episode?
I can make a comment. When I was thinking about this topic initially, I was like, you know what? We were all born salespeople, but somewhere along the line, we got influenced by our environment, lost our confidence, and we're like, no, we're going to go into marketing or we're going to go into operations, so HR. And I remember that from being a child, right, to also having a son myself, of like, he is constantly negotiating with me, bartering with me, convincing me that he's going to do this to get that, right? So it's just that ability to take that into a digital world is super available to us now as opposed to before. Like I couldn't have this conversation, 5 years ago. Couldn't have this conversation maybe even 4 years ago, right? Because that is just so much opportunity for us and a different way of thinking, a different way of embracing everything that's available to us right now, because the customer mindset has changed. And by change, I mean they've become more open to different ways of buying. And for us to be able to influence and take them to that next step in closing the sale, and me, because I'm a digital person, when I'm able to do that digitally, of course I'm like yes, right, which is exciting. So showing that end-to-end success in a digital world is important for every single industry. And I think we can get there. There's a lot of work to do, because like one door opens and then another door is opening and another one. And I'm like, okay, which one do I focus on right now? So I'm excited about what is going to be coming up for us in the next 5 years in the digital space right now.
That is so great. And I mean, I think that is the perfect ending for this office hours. So for everyone participating live and for viewing this video, if you want to see more episodes, just go to tenlo.com. You'll see office hours episodes where we talk with panels of marketers. You can also see and hear the Leader Generation podcast there as well. So thank you everyone for participating. This was a great panel, and we'll see everyone next time.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.